How's everybody feel? How did that feel to everybody? Did you feel like dancing?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Kimberly Bishop, Associate State Director at AARP Michigan. I'm glad you chose to start your Saturday morning with us with our March Rhythm Circle. I'm sure many of you were up late last night watching those games. I hope your brackets didn't get busted, and I'm glad you're here. I'm always surprised by the varied locations that people are viewing us from. So if you would, please say hi in the comments and let us know where you are. One thing that I never do that I always should is I'd like to give a shout out to my colleague, Karina Eggleston, who is behind the scenes. She makes everything happen, and without her, we would not be able to do these sessions. So whether we're talking about brain health or arthritis or area agencies on aging, cooking for two, whatever the topic is, Karina has had something to do with it. And I'd just like to give her a high five behind the scenes. These monthly rhythm sessions are a way for us to have fun with purpose. If you've joined us before, you've likely heard me talk about the connection between music, which is our fun, and brain health, which is our purpose. Last month, I decided to mix things up a little bit and share some information about the connection between music and heart health. Today, we're going to do something a little different again. We're going to talk with our friend, Kevin Bujo Jones, about the impact music had on his recovery following a brain injury. For the benefit of those who haven't met Kevin, let me tell you a little bit about him. Kevin Bujo Jones is a percussionist, a band leader, a producer, an educator. He's a faculty member with MSU Percussion and Jazz Studies. He served as a percussionist for the dance department at Western Michigan University, as well as an artist in residence in the Jazz Studies department. He's an accompanist for West African dance classes at Grand Valley State University and serves on the board of directors for the West Michigan Jazz Society. If I read all of his credentials, we'd never get to hear his story. So I'll say one last thing. If you have questions for Kevin as we go along, please type them in the comments section and he will answer them live. So as a matter of housekeeping, we'll have our conversation with Kevin and then transition directly to the rhythm circle. So I hope that you're ready. So is everyone ready to get started? Okay. So I'd like to welcome Kevin and his lovely wife, Martine. Lovely wife, Martine is like one phrase. It just always goes together. So good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Morning. Good.
All right. So Kevin, you have shared little bits and pieces of your story with us as we've talked about the relationship between music and brain health. Would you mind sharing a bit about your story with us?
Sure, I can share it. Although I do want to get to the music, but I think it's important in this context to tell a little bit about what happened to me in terms of my brain injury that happened a little bit over 7 years ago. So yeah, I would love to do that. It was about 7 years ago. I suffered what they call in medical terms as a subdural hematoma. A subdural hematoma is basically a blood vessel that bursts on the outside of the brain and fills the cavity of the brain up. And I thought nothing of it. I had actually bumped my head. I was over my daughter's house on Father's Day, and at that particular time, she lived in a basement apartment with her then fiance, now husband. They had a basement apartment, and I just struck my head slightly on one of the pipes that were overhanging in the basement. It hurt a little bit, but I actually had a plate of food in my hand when it happened, and I didn't even drop the plate of food. So that'll tell you how insignificant it seemed at that particular time. Over the course of the next couple of months, 3 months or so, by the time Labor Day weekend rolled around, I was suffering from, these really, really bad headaches. And I never put the two of them together. And I decided to go, the headaches got worse, and I decided to go to the emergency room. When I entered the emergency room, they told me, they did a CAT scan and told me that I could not go home, that I had to stay. And I was like, well, can you do this on Tuesday at like 3 o'clock? Because I got stuff to do. So the neurosurgeon was on the way. They told me, you can't leave, you have to stay here. And they did a craniotomy on me to relieve the pressure. The pressure in my brain had built up to the point where it was pushing my, what they call midline shift over from the right side to the left side. And so basically my brain was getting squished. After the craniotomy, I stayed in the hospital for about a week, and went home. And between the constant still having headaches, recovery from the deep anesthesia and all of the medicines, I was like really foggy and cloudy for many, many weeks, at least 8 to 10 weeks after that. And I was sort of in a funk and couldn't get out of like this sort of cloudy kind of feeling. When I visited my family doctor, my family doctor told me, you should just get out and go drum in the park. And I was like, well, it is November. So even at that particular time, I was living in New Jersey, and even in New Jersey, November is kind of cold to be drumming in the park. So, I went and started to drum, started to go back to teach my classes at least once a week. The more I played, the more I became stronger in terms of coordination. I still was using a cane to get around, but eventually the drumming really helped me improve in terms of my acuity of my surroundings, of my coordination, and generally my overall health. When I first came home and tried to hit the drum, I couldn't do half of what I did now. I also had physical and occupational therapy to go along with it, but I continued to play music, and the more I played, the better I got. And I ran into a friend of mine who is her name is Dr. Slotkin, and she told me, she said that drummers have the ability to heal faster because you're always thinking about your right and your left, and you always have to be coordinated. So you being a drummer, she told me, really, really helped in terms of my healing process and how fast I actually was able to pull myself out out of that because it really lasted for a very, very long time. Very traumatic experience. And, you know, it really got me out into the world. It got me back. I started working again, playing music. And yeah, so that's basically my story. And I continue to get better because something like that is not an easy thing to recover from, you know.
Definitely, it sounds like it. And as I, listen to your story, I think about the death of Bob Saget recently, who they believe hit his head and went to sleep and never woke up. So I'm certainly glad that that you're here to tell your story. We have one question from Jean. She'd like to know, aside from headaches, did you have any other symptoms like being off balance or dizzy or anything like that?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Bless you, Martine.
I still have to be monitored by neurologists. I at least every 6 months. I do still have my bouts of dizziness, and still have headaches, but they're nowhere near what I went through 7 years ago. The dizziness comes and goes, but for the most part, I would say I'm 99% healed, 99% better. But there's always that little bit that you realize, oh, like I'm a survivor of traumatic brain injury. And Bob Saget, when I heard what happened to him, I felt like, extremely, extremely fortunate. Extremely fortunate because people were telling me, I just had migraines at the time, and you just need to close the shades and go to sleep and get some rest. That's the best thing for migraines. And that was like the worst thing for me in retrospect, So I'm glad I made it to the ER, and I'm glad that I actually stayed and didn't wait till Tuesday of the next week. But yes, Jean, that is, I definitely still suffer a little bit, but, nothing more than anybody else would suffer if they just had, a simple headache. I'm doing a lot better than a lot of people that are my age. My wife, Martine, and I are both AARP members too, by the way. So, I'll reveal my age is 62. So I'm not going to, so you're,
Go ahead and tell it.
wait a minute, you're 61. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking anyway.
Well, I am glad that you are both here with us today. And really thank you for sharing your story, because I think often people don't realize that, the people among us have been through some really serious things. And even as we do these these rhythm circles, excuse me, though they're fun, they really do have a purpose. And, using music to, whether it helps healing from a brain injury, or whether it just helps your general happiness, your emotional health, because we all know, after having been, in a pandemic and isolated from people for, over 2 years now, we have to find all the things that we can to bring us some happiness. This is no substitute for going to a doctor if you're not feeling well. We're not giving any kind of medical advice, but we did want Vujo to tell his story because it really emphasizes the importance of, number one, listening to your body, knowing when something is different and going to the doctor. And, a real live story with someone, because Bujo is all of our friend now, who's experienced a brain injury where music really helped with his recovery. So We have a thank you. Jean says, thank you for sharing. She's working on pain management from osteoarthritis. My goodness. Mabel says she's just glad you're here with us this morning. So I will transition to you doing the rhythm because that's what people are here for. But thank you so much for spending a few moments with us telling your story because it's an important story to tell.
Sure, you're very, very welcome. And, just one last thing before we get into the rhythms, music stimulates brain activity, right? Playing music and dancing. So those two things, I'm actually trying to dance now.
Okay.
He's doing it.
All of those things, dancing, playing music, it stimulates your brain activity. And, this is for everybody. Today, we're going to be doing, a very, very simple rhythm, but it's going to take a little bit of required attention. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it without further ado today. And thank you, Kim. We really appreciate you, and I really love doing these monthly rhythm circles. So as always, every month we ask you to grab something. I'm sure a lot of people out there don't have a drum. These drums are called Jimbei Drums. These are djembes from the Malinke or Manding people from the Mali and Guinea area, although djembe is played all over the world. But if you don't have a djembe or a conga drum like this, you can grab something from your kitchen or a storage container or even a box if you have one to play out some of these rhythms. If you don't have something like this, and I love this to use this as a shaker. I think I'm gonna bring this to the gig.
Right.
This is a popcorn in here, Orville Redenbacher. You can use this as a shaker. It's really very tight. I really like the sound. But anyway, let's get to drumming. Okay, so as you know, there's three basic sounds of the drum. Bass, which is putting your palm and all your fingers towards the middle of the drum. You don't have to go all the way over here if you do have a djembe, but towards the middle of the drum and just play it like this. Tone, the tone sound, you want to put your fingers closer to the edge, not back here like this, but put all of your fingers inside the circumference of the drum. And of course, there's a slap sound, which we talked about for many, many months, which sounds like this. The slap sound is made by placing your hand here, almost the same position as your tone sound, that tone sound, except you're changing the focus of your attack on the head of the drum with your fingertips. So you just want your fingertips to come down, widen the space between your fingers slightly, and just come down on the drum, almost like a whip. You want to try it? Sure, Martine. So everybody tilt your drum forward slightly. And so you want to try a bass sound, bass. Again, bass. Right. Tone. Right. And the slap sound, which is very hard, so don't feel bad if you can't do it. So you want to come down here and let your fingertips. Okay. Just let your fingertips. Right. Yeah. Better. Better. Good. So this first rhythm that we're going to play is a pretty simple rhythm. So it's not a traditional rhythm, but this session Rhythm Circle isn't about learning just traditional rhythms, although we will get into that, and we have played some traditional rhythms. So first, you're going to play with your dominant hand, whether it's your right or your left, a bass sound. Right. Right. Okay. So you're going to play, next you're going to play bass tone. Right. So everybody repeat after me with my wife, Martine. So I'm going to play bass tone. Bass. 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 Right. Bass. Bass. And bass. 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 Okay. Now, one more note. Bass, tone, bass, tone. 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 Very good. So that's the basic rhythm. Now we're going to speed it up slightly. So here I have on my foot, what you're hearing is a cowbell that I have attached to my foot. Okay, so just so you know what you're hearing. Okay, so we're going to speed it up. 1, 2, ready with me. Very good. Bass, bass, tone, bass, bass, tone, bass. Right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. So what did we play at the end? That was called the signal or a break. And it sounds like this. Again. 2, ready with us. 2, ready again. Very good. Okay, so that's what we call a break or a signal. Now, here's where it's going to, this is a very simple rhythm. Now, what did you notice about playing that rhythm? About your hands.
Oh, alternating hands, 2 notes.
Yeah, alternating hands. There's only 2 notes, bass and tone. And what else? Which hand does like, there's one hand is doing what?
The bass.
And the other hand is doing
The tone.
the tones, right? So this is all bass. So you can this actually has the pulse, right? is playing the in-between notes. Right here. Ooh. That is so good. Right? So, now, I want you to do, we're going to play this rhythm 3 times. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay? So let's play it 3 times and then stop. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, 3 times. 2, 3. Okay? One more time. 1, 2, ready, 3 times. Bass, bass, bass. Okay? 1, 2, ready, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, my bad. It's my brain injury. I'm thinking of too many things at once. Okay. So that's just a disclaimer. I can always use it. I'm a sufferer of brain injury.
Sandy.
Neurologist. Okay. Anyway, can you say neurology? Anyway, 1, 2, ready, 3 times. Bass. 2, 3. Okay. So now, why do we do that? Okay, we're going to extend it. On the 4th time, we're not going to play that. We're going to play 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Everybody try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. One more time. Very good. So now we're going to add it. We're going to play bass, tone, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then start over, right? So now, can we all do it? I hear you all saying, yeah, we could do it. Okay. You ready?
Ready?
Okay, here we go. I'm just going to count us in, and then we start. Okay? So just do your best if you don't have a drum. If you do have a drum, just try to follow along. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now, I do like to give a little bit more information to people when I do these rhythm circles, because I don't want to give out the impression that we are just banging on drums. The Jimbei drum has a very, very long history, as well as the conga and ngoma, or a lot of the drums that we listen to, hand drums that come out of the African diaspora. It's very important that people really understand the significance of it. For me, the djembe or my conga, to me, it's almost like my altar. It has a very deep spiritual meaning. It connects me with my past, my present, and my future. So, you know, these rhythms that we learn are not just, we're just not banging, which is unfortunately is the perception of sort of the Western world, you know, that we're just an ancillary instrument, you know. Djembe, right? Conga, I don't know if you can see, this is a conga drum, right? A conga. And there's some drums over here next to Martine. Can you leave that there?
Okay.
And just pull that one up. This one needs to be fixed, but I need a new head. But yeah, just put it down. So these drums are called dun, and these make are dun ba. Sometimes they say jun, and they're played with sticks. Sorry, I know that wasn't really camera ready. I just blocked my wife out of the shot. So these drums go along with the djembe. You could say jun or dun. Some people are dunumba, but these are significantly important. So we're going to do the same rhythm, and I'm going to ask my wife to play with sticks now.
Oh boy.
Come on, you could twirl a stick or something, right? No. Okay. So we're going to play. She's going to play the same rhythm as we just learned. So I know that there's some of you out there that have like a drum set that you know, or somebody said one time, they said, you know, I only have timbales in my house, but you can play this and just displace whatever rhythm that we're learning today onto your drum set or whatever drums that you have. If you only have drums with sticks, then play that. Okay? So we're going to do same thing. Can you try that? No. Bass, two, bass. Right? That's it. So I would start this when you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would start it with my right hand. Or you can do it with your left hand. So we're going to try this rhythm. We're going to try this rhythm, and then we're going to move on because we don't have too much time left. But so we'll start slow, and then maybe we'll pick it up a little bit. Okay? Can you handle it?
I think so.
That's my drummer girl. That's my wife. Yes. All right. Here we go. Like about. Okay. So we're going to start a little bit slower. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Bass, 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 bass. Okay, so we're going to go back to one more rhythm. Since we only have about 7 or 8 minutes left. So let's go back to cuckoo. And I want to go back to cuckoo because I want you to hear it in context with the dun drums, the duns. Because it's very important to hear it in context. So, Martine, your part is very, very simple.
Okay.
Okay? So you're going to play, and if you guys can play with Martine's part, it's, that's it.
That's it.
So it's going to sound like this. So the pulse is here, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Right? Yes. Yes. All right. Very good. Okay. So, if you remember from back a couple of months ago, whoever was here, cuckoo, the main basic part is slap, bass, down, down. Slap, bass,
So I'm playing, there's 4 notes. So this note, the first note, as well as Martine's first note, comes right before the downbeat. 3, 4, and 1. Right? 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Slap bass. 2, 3, 4. Then so I'm doing this to show how the different rhythms interact with each other. Now, normally with a djembe orchestra or djembe group, you'll have several djembe players, several people playing the dunumba, which is the small drum is called a kankani, sangban, and the biggest drum is a dunum. So, but right now we only have 2. So she's playing what we call ballet style. We'll get into that another day. But let's try to do it with only 2 people and playing the very, very, very basic parts. So I'm going to have Martine start out first, like this. And so we're going to play. Okay, so we did a very obscure rhythm. The first rhythm, it doesn't have a name. It was just a rhythm that myself and one of my partners made up to teach when we used to teach in the Bronx. And it's kind of a reggaeton style rhythm, whatever. But we had to, sometimes you have to do things that garner attention when you're teaching children or adults sometimes. It's a very easy rhythm. And the last rhythm we did was called cuckoo, which is actually spelled K-U-K-U, not like a cuckoo clock. But anyway, we want to thank you. No, that's okay. We want to thank you so much for tuning in today. My wife and I always loved getting up on Saturday mornings, and it makes us get dressed early. No, seriously. We want to thank you. We will be
back on in April, the third Saturday of April, which off the top of my head, I can't remember what date that is, but we will post it. I think it's anyway. I'm not gonna guess because everybody will tune in. April 16th, we will be back for the next Rhythm Circle. Please play music, dance, even if you're not a dancer like myself. Dance to music, listen to music, drum, do whatever you can. It really helps your overall health and your overall spirit. So we want to thank you so much, and we're going to turn it. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Kimberly Bishop, and we want to thank you so much for coming and spending this little time, this little hour with us this morning. You have a great day.
Good morning again, everyone. And thank you, Bujo, for sharing your story with us, your wife, and your talents, not in that order. All of the wonderful comments. People truly enjoyed this session. We have a comment from Jeanette who says, thank you for this brain exercise. What I find is that I need to really focus and use my memory. When I think I have it, I get confident and my mind starts to wander and I get off track. She said it's like her brain skips a beat. So that lets us know that what we're doing is working, because we'd like to give you a little information, have a little fun, and you're doing a little brain exercise. Before we close today, I'd like to tell you about a special event that AARP is hosting next week, and I'm glad that we're not going up against this. It's called AARP Celebrates You. It's a 3-day online festival. Karina should be running the link in the chat and across the screen to register. It's a 3-day online festival that starts on Thursday, March 24th, and ends on Saturday, the 26th. And just to give you a hint of what we'll be doing, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler will be together again. There will be a Movies for Grown-Ups preview of Forrest Gump. If you haven't seen it, it's a wonderful movie. If you have, it might be worth seeing again. We'll have Dolly Parton and James Patterson on a panel talking about books. It'll be moderated by Louise Penny. We'll have a session on living your best life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta and Ty Pennington. But as we talk about music and its connection to health and happiness, we're going to have a concert with Rod Stewart next Friday evening. And on Saturday, we'll end it, and it's from 11 to 1. So I know you guys are up because you're here with us at 10. It's called Daybreaker Live. It's going to be a Motown dance party. DJ Jazzy Jeff, the Commodores, and Gloria Gaynor will be participating. So please, please, please be sure to register. It looks like a lot of fun. And you can start your Saturday again with music and AARP. So thank you all for being here with us. Thank you again, Bujo and Martine. And I look forward to seeing everyone again on Saturday, April 16th at 10 a.m. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Saturday.